All right, let's talk about and install another key tool which you will need. And this is going to be Node.js. Now, Node.js is a open source JavaScript runtime environment which will allow us to run server-side JavaScript. And in the long run, it will allow us to build full stack, fully functional applications, anything from the server-side JavaScript logic to database logic to front-end React logic, all being managed and encapsulated by this Node, so-called Node.js ecosystem. Now, there's a couple of ways to install Node. One of such ways is just to go to their website and download their package and install it. It's generally a bad idea because Node is notoriously famous to be very confusing with versioning for beginners. If I've never used Node and if I look at this, I'm already confused. What am I supposed to use? 20, 22, 23, 24, 18. Here it says download this LTS, but maybe get this one, 23.7. But here it says it's already 24 and it says current. Okay, so what we're going to do is use a different tool. It's called Node Version Manager, NVM for short. It will allow us to do a couple of things. Install the most stable long-term support version of Node, and also allow us to manage different versions and upgrade them very easily whenever we need to. So let's make sure that our Node is not installed. I'm using WSL2 Ubuntu distribution, but this will work against all Ubuntu distributions, whether you're using in WSL or you're dual booting. So I'll check here, and it says command node not found, but can be installed with sudo apt install node.js. That's a good suggestion by Ubuntu, but it's not a correct suggestion because, again, we'll be stuck with only a certain version, maybe not the version that we actually want. So what we're going to do is set up and prep for Node Version Manager installation. Now, all of this is in the handout as well, so you can just follow the handout. This is just kind of a follow along so the handout is not confusing. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this is not strictly necessary, but I'm just going to update everything here, update my packages, and I'll do my password and whatnot, and it will essentially update anything that I have installed, just so it's the most up to date, and I don't have anything that's outdated or deprecated. All right. Then what we need is a couple of prerequisite libraries. It's easy to forget these, and they generally should be installed on your Ubuntu distribution, but they may be missing depending on your installation process. So again, that's in a handout. I'm running that, so it says I'm already running this build essential, and I will need another one here called libssl, and I'll install that. And again, it says I'm already with the newest version, whatnot. So nothing upgraded, nothing installed. We're all good. Okay, next we can go to the NVM installation. Now, NVM has their own repository on GitHub, and it's good to check on it as well. So we'll check it out here. And there's a lot here, a lot. What we are interested in, and it's in the handout as well, is this one here. It will run the install and update script and install the latest stable version of NVM. Now, it's also in the handout, and this version might be different. So it's good to come back, use the link there, and check that you're grabbing the latest one here. Because if you install an outdated one, it might not even work, because that might be the actual curl link might be actually down. So just double check to make sure this version is the latest one here. So we'll copy it in. I'll close that, and I will run the installation. Now, this might take a second or two or a minute, really depends on your system. It's running a bunch of things, cloning a bunch of objects, and what do we have here? What do we have here is Basically, it's saying that everything is now successfully set up, maybe. The last thing we need to do is check that the installation properly set a couple of settings here. So what we need to go is to our bash profile. What I'll actually do is open up another tab, and I will switch to our bash profile. And again, this is all in the handout as well. I'll open it up, and you know what? I'm going to go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, a bunch of scary settings, and let's compare. So on support, make sure that you have this here. So this here will load NVM, and this will load NVM bash completion. I'll double check. Seems like it's there. So I'm not going to touch it. That's it. I'm just going to exit out of here. If you don't see this at the bottom of your bash profile, go ahead and copy and paste that in there. And again, it's also in the handout. When you copy and paste that in, you will need to exit. I'm exiting with the Control X. If you have copy and pasted that in, you will also need to save bash profile and make sure to restart. Or in this case, I'm just going to open up a brand new tab in my Ubuntu. I'm going to close out all of the other ones. Now, I should have NVM installed. Not Node yet, but let's see. Let's run NVM, and we have a bunch of things. Okay, bunch of scary things, but it's not that scary. So Node version manager is installed, but we don't have Node just yet. Now, this is important. If we just run NVM install Node, it will install the latest version. I've provided a link in the handout why the latest version is not always recommended. And in fact, even the people behind Node say, unless you want to test out all of the latest and greatest features and all of the experimental features, do not use the latest version. Use the long-term support version. And then say you like, okay, well, how am I supposed to figure out which long-term support version I'm supposed to use, right? Let's go back to this one. Okay, yeah, that's not making it easier. Well, for that, we have NVM. And instead of saying install node, we're going to say NVM install --LTS. And NVM will find the current long-term support version and install it for you. See, installing latest LTS version. Right now, the latest LTS version is 22.13.1, meaning this is the version that Node, the people behind Node, at this moment, this month, suggest that you use across your whole development environment. And it will install that, and we are good. Now, if I run this, now using Node 22.3, creating default. And now if I say NVM list, we see the default is a long-term support version. And if I do a Node version, we also see that my Node version is 22.13.1, which is the long-term support version, which without NVM for a beginner would be kind of hard to figure out which one it is. Sure, I mean, you can just, if you're experienced with this, you can work through their confusing tables and graphs, or you can use this tool to keep it up to date for you. And the nice part about it, when the long-term support version changes, it's easy to install it again with the same commands, essentially. So we never really have to guess which command we have to use if we want to update Node and if we want to use the latest long-term support version, the most stable version of Node that is out there right now.